Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, taking a fun, exciting video for you guys today because we're taking a look at Smash Remix one more time. We're not taking a look at the mainline Smash Remix. This is Smash Remix Plus Extra by a bunch of different developers within the Smash community. And honestly, every single 6 months or so, there is a brand new Smash version out there, whether it's based on Remix or the original game, bringing in new characters, new features, new modifications, just kind of more ways to have the same fun with Smash Brothers. And because there are a bunch of different people I know working on different PC ports of Smash right now, including one that's already out there. Honestly, I hope a lot of this stuff comes to some of those in the future. But in the meantime, we have something like Smash Remix Plus Extra, bringing in a ton of fun different characters, and even now a tap to jump versus having to push up on the analog stick, which I think a lot of people are going to be into. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, did you know that Plus Extra had come out? Because as of the recording this voiceover, it's only like 12 hours old as they put out the announcement trailer, but I'm sure I'll hold on to this for a couple days to kind of get to the spot where I want to actually show it to you guys. Because right now there's so much going on in the world of retro gaming, I find it troublesome to even figure out how to schedule all of these things, because I can only do so many bonus videos a week based upon how videos actually go out on the platform. But I love Smash Brothers even if I'm not the best at it, and I love the overall kind of ethos to make this game whatever it is you want. There's so many different modding groups out there, and this one absolutely just nailed it when it comes to adding in some fun new features while still keeping it feeling like Smash, because that's the thing. Some that I have tested, and again, I love each and every one of them, just some hit differently than others. Kind of pivot a little bit too far away from what Smash feels like to me, versus something like Plus Extra feels exactly like what I want, except with a little bit more around the edges. And Solid Snake here coming out of a box in both their trailer, as well as hiding under a box in the artwork right before the match, is a ton of fun. If you can't tell, I'm going to pivot between 4x3 and 16x9 just to kind of talk about the different ways you can have this game look, although personally for me, 4x3 is the preferred way I like to play Smash. It's just one of those things that I've always preferred. But you leave a comment down below and you tell me, 4x3 or 16x9, I would be curious. But honestly, playing around with this one, if you love Smash Remix and you're looking for a new version of an incredible game still to play these days, then this definitely has everything you need. And it really is wild to think how long ago the original Smash Brothers came out on N64, and just how much love it still gets to this day. A decompilation project, a bunch of people working on different versions for the PC, Remix Plus Extra, stuff like that, even Project Galleon, which I talked about maybe a few months ago. And this is not going to stop. You're going to continue to see these developments within the Smash community. And honestly, I know a lot of the Smash games get a bunch of community mods, but I kind of love the N64 ones the most, just because this is where I first got my introduction to the game, played with my friends all the time one summer, and had a blast. Fun very much intended for all the bombs going on here, with Snake just tossing them out on the screen. And with all of the different backgrounds and added characters here, basically every different version of Smash that gets modded up has its own kind of character base, its own kind of ability to have its own personality. And that really is the thing. None of these mods are going to make you love Smash if you didn't love it beforehand. And if you did love it beforehand, you're just going to find more fun to be had. And that really is the great thing about modifications like this to games. It just gives you more of a good thing, because if all we had was the original Smash from back in the day, nothing else, it might get a little bit boring and a little bit stale. And I love that I was able to hit this last target here with a little bit of a toe touch, going up straight up backwards with Donkey Kong's foot, or Ultimate Donkey Kong as he is in here in Plus Extra. Just kind of felt like a little bit of a moment. I thought I was going to miss it, and that toe just grazed the target and gave me the win. And as we move into the next match, of course, something like this is going to be better if you have friends in front of you, and this is going to be compatible with obviously 4 controllers. And just so you know, I played this in Rosalie's Mopin GUI just to get the clearest capture here, but it is going to be available to play basically anywhere you want. The only wrong way to play this one is not to play it in the first place, although I love the chaos of that match there, as one of the characters got stuck under the level and just pinballed back and forth, making the screen go crazy. That really is the thing about Plus Extra and Remix in general, and even the original Smash 64. It is absolutely chaotic game. You're never quite sure what's going to happen, and sometimes even you're surprised what is going to go on. But a soundtrack sample, because of course this is going to have different music than the base game, and I'll be right back. Super fun music, super fun levels, super fun pivoting up of the classic formula, and still familiar enough to remix players as well as original players for you to just jump in and have a ton of fun. And with the new characters, there is a lot to love here, but it really makes me think, if we could add one character to Smash 64, remix, or any other game, which one would it be? For me personally, I'd love to take maybe one of the models out of Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, maybe Dracula, bring him in and make him a combat. I think that would be a ton of fun. But there's so many different options out there. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of different really fun comments down below with your character choices. And for a backup, just in case Dracula's ever been in any of the Smash ROM hacks, I want to go with Jumping Flash from the PlayStation 1 just because I'm pretty sure no one's added him in yet. But as we move on here, really this just goes to show how much of a life this game will continue to have into the future. And I really do hope that when we see some more of the PC ports with modification support, that we see stuff like Remix plus Extra and a couple others be able to come in. Because as much fun as the base Super Smash Bros. Is, there really is a lot more to be had, a lot more fun to love when you get into these I don't even want to call them ROM hacks at this point in time, basically just quasi-remakes of the game. Yes, they are just basically pivoting up on the original release, Smash 64, but at the same time, a ROM hack kind of doesn't really feel like it properly explains just how much insane work goes into making these things for you to enjoy. It really feels like making an entirely new game, just using the basis of the original game to kind of skin around it. But that really is the fun thing about developers out there. There's always a fun new idea, and honestly, they help keep these games alive in the public consciousness because we still don't really have much news on what Nintendo's doing with the new Smash game for the Switch 2. And there really haven't been all that many Smash games if you think about it, and that's why each and every one of them has a dedicated fan base around it. It's not like SNK with the King of Fighters where you gotta release basically every year, or even Capcom with Street Fighter where you have so many different revisions that you have dozens upon dozens of games to choose from. Smash has basically been one console, one release, and then fans basically take that and decide we're gonna make like another dozen games out of it, kind of like Capcom would with all of their different pivots. And that really is fun because Nintendo doesn't do all that much with it, unfortunately, at least in my opinion, but the fan community will do what Nintendo, pun very much intended, by giving us all this fun stuff. And honestly, Wario stage here in the background are absolutely hilarious, one of my favorites in any sort of Smash game, whether made by fans or by Nintendo. But you tell me down below and you tell me, best Smash background ever made, best stage ever made. Because that is the fun thing about additional levels. Not only is it background art, it is a situation where you're playing Street Fighter, where basically you're on the ground the entire time. There's different platforms, and every single level has its own playstyle to deal with kind of the environmental hazards as well, which is something obviously endemic to Smash, but that's something we see in other fighting games. So it isn't just your favorite level for the look, it's also your favorite level for the overall feel and how you fight inside of it. Because the level layout can change things and it can make things feel completely different than the previous level you were on. And here in Plus Extra, definitely some fun ones. One more soundtrack sample. Again, I love the pivot up on the music from the traditional Smash formula. So go ahead and listen for like 35 seconds this time and I'll be right back with more. I mean, you can't go wrong with the fighting in Goemon's Arena here, and again, if you've never played Goemon on the N64, there is actually a static recomp of that game. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, but recommending it to you, because it's absolutely outstanding, and it is one of my favorite N64 games of all time. But obviously there wasn't really any question of this, but the Smash Brothers modding community is absolutely thriving out there. There's so many different groups with so many different versions of this base game, and they all absolutely have something to say, something to show you, and something fun to pivot up. And honestly, having a jump button on an actual button, that is a really fun kind of thing to add in here. But short of that, you leave me a comment down below and you tell me what's your favorite Super Smash Brothers mod, ROM hack, or otherwise. Because trust me, there is more than a few out there to choose from, and each and every one is fun in its own way. Probably run this as a bonus episode just because I talked about Smash maybe a few months ago. I try not to talk about the same game franchise all that often. When I saw this was out and I played around with it, I knew it was worth a video because the team did a great job. So if you want to play this one, a link to their YouTube channel is down below and you'll find it there. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.